So, what is going on in the United Kingdom? An 8-year-old child at a primary school is murdered. How is the murder? The murder took place inside the school. This child was among the children in a primary school in Wimbledon, yards from where the Wimbledon tennis championship has been underway. These children were playing, having a party, school party, baby's party, end of term school party. And this Land Rover, 2-ton Land Rover, is murders this child. The murder or the crime of this criminal. They personalize and the child that died murdered. They said the girl dies. How did the girl die? Was she waiting there to die? Was she and the party to die, to be murdered, and then be called she died? So the headline in the Times on front page of Times on Friday, 7th of July 2023 says, Girl 8 dies after Land Rover hits school party. So the Land Rover became animated and was motivated to murder this child and injure others. That's the fucking Times heading. How could that be? How could that be in that stupid Tony Gallagher shit? Tony Gallagher edits the so called Times. How could that be the right heading? And then in bigger letters in the Sun, which is also owned by the dirty digger Murdoch, it says girl 8 dies in school horror. It wasn't a school horror, you fucking shits. It's the horror, the massacre was caused by this evil woman driving the Land Rover. So why do they call it the school horror? It wasn't anything to do with the school. The school has been the victim, the site of the murder and the massacre because all these children, other children, 20 plus that have been injured, some of them may die. I mean, some of them may succumb to the injuries that the first one died of. And it says 10 other girls are in hospital as driver arrested, but they don't say it's a woman driver, murderous woman driver. Then on the inside, it says 2-ton car. Now, this is stupid. It says 2-ton car plowed into end of town tea party. How could the car plow into the end of town tea party? Was it a car that became able to drive itself as a murderous weapon? So criminal and vile and foul and evil has this attack been that even the policewoman is described as the Detective Chief Superintendent Claire Kelland She was fighting back tears because that is how awful the murder of this 8-year-old baby is. But there is no sign in the Times or the scum that it was a woman, mad, evil woman that did it. Shit. How could that, these fucking stupid shits? They're saying that the vehicle collided, the Land Rover collided with one of the school buildings at the study prep school in Wimbledon. But if the picture that they printed with this story shows that it didn't collide with the building, fuck them. It didn't. It couldn't collide with the building at all. So that is one evil, series of evil. And then we go back to talking about Robert Jenrick. Who is Robert Jenrick? Robert Jenrick, I mean, to say that Suella Ibila Cruella Fernandez, the Goa that is of India, descended but British born licensed law trader that is now in the post of the Interior Minister in the United Kingdom. And she was preceded by Indian origin but British born Pretty Ugly Patel. Now, Robert Jenrick is the minister who is apparently in hierarchical terms line managed by Suella Ibila Cruella Fernandez. And the news items in the papers today report that he, Jenrick, was so outraged that children, asylum seeking families, and probably individual children, there is a center for these children, and that in order to give them dignity, the people who manage the center or somebody who was connected with the center management decided to create a mural. And Jenrick was so outraged that these children, asylum seeking children, were being treated with any similarity to the treatment of human beings that he decided to erase the murals. I mean, how far back into the darkness, the dark ages, does England have to go? A leading Fleet Street cartoonist has offered to repaint a Mickey Mouse mural designed to welcome children at an asylum reception center. After Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick ordered its removal, Guy Venables, a cartoonist for the Metro, Private Eye, and the Spectator, told I yesterday Mr. Jenrick's order to erase the wall art at the Kent Asylum Intake Unit in Dover is unnecessarily cruel, and claimed the minister is blind of any decent moral compass. Guy Venables, the cartoonist, claims he has been in talks with the center over creating a new mural which would welcome youngsters after it was claimed its workers were horrified over the mural being removed and were trying to think of ways to avoid it. Venables says some of the best cartoonists and illustrators in the country have rallied to offer help create the artwork after he sent out a message to Illustrators Trade Body Professional Cartoonist Organization with offering tea, paints, money, and importantly lemon meringue pie after I put out a tweet. He hopes if the work is created, it will make Mr. Jenrick think twice about vandalizing several professional national cartoonists' work to deny a vulnerable child something fun to look at. Last night, the Home Office confirmed that the cartoon characters painted on the walls of the asylum center have been painted over following the order from Mr. Jenrick. Venables said, appalled and fuming by Jenrick's plan to paint over the mural at the Children's Refuge Center at Dover. My first response was to rally the troops. So he got in touch with other cartoonists. After all, to do nothing is equivalent to being complicit, and to decide that punishing traumatized children already on our soil by decreeing something welcoming be censored was a baffling display of astonishingly pointless cruelty. Guy Venables added it was an instant response to this appalling idea that Jenrick had, partly because it is moral compass. Because, of course, the kids are already going to be in this country. So, to make their experience deliberately worse seems just unnecessarily cruel. Jenrick is a shitbag that was caught lying when he bribed the Conservative Party is in his attempt to get the permission, planning permission for a property in the east end of London in the Isle of Dogs. The property was actually belonging that at the time was the property belonging to the then owner of the time of the Daily Express and other titles. The details of how Jenrick got caught are available online. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's disgusting to even have to mention his name. The shitbag is a licensed law trader, as a barrister. And as a barrister, if he actually knew the law, he would have been aware of the presence in the United Kingdom, let's say, a list of treaties, many of the treaties concerning the upholding of the basic human rights of the children and the need to treat them very humanely so that trauma experience would at least get kind of compensated for by this humorous cartoon that the murals contain. A mural, by definition, is the series of drawings on the wall, and these drawings can be contributed to by more than one individual, which is what has happened with this particular mural that Jenrick doesn't want displayed. Although I had no direct connection with him, Jenrick was involved in Tar Hamlets with a number of other minor things. As a lawyer, he is, of course, an ignorant one, and as a politician belonging to the Conservative Party, which is depraved and evil, I think Jenrick is just about the same law standard and cruelty standard that Suella Fernandez, who is the main minister in the department, immigration department, the home office. And it is absolutely incredible that apart from the Fleet Street papers that I have just mentioned, especially the I newspaper, the others, including the Guardian, don't have any space to critically evaluate the disintegration of the career of this minister, as well as the career of the main Home Secretary, what is the main incumbent in the post of the Interior Minister. So we shall be updating on Robert Jenrick. As I said, I mean, the less I have to mention this criminal's name, the better it is for the soul. Now, going back to the behavior of the UK department, DEFRA, which was fronted at the time 2021 when I'm talking about, fronted by George Evilness Eustace. And the main expertise apparently comes from the so-called chief bat, woman called Christian Middlemas Evilness. It is Christian Evilness Middleness that drove the attack narrative, dishonestly claiming that baby angel Geronimo was infected with some kind of illness, and therefore the baby angel Geronimo's safety was disrecognized. There have been 3 separate sittings of the divisional court, that is the High Court, allegedly to consider the repeated applications by Helen MacDonald, the woman in South Gloucestershire, who has been baby angel Geronimo's human mum in England. Baby angel Geronimo is a New Zealand born and brought up boy. And his original mum in New Zealand, Leonie Walker, is still missing him. And although she knows other alpacas, because she is a breeder of alpacas, just like Helen MacDonald. She remembers baby angel Geronimo in particular because of his mischievous nature. Baby angel Geronimo has never been unwell, never been infected with anything, and he has been the best of health of all the alpacas. And these court cases that took place, the three of them in succession, the proceedings included the correct assertion by Helen MacDonald, who is herself a trained veterinary nurse herself, that is to say, she knows how to look after animals. And she has a trained background and track record of looking after animals. So she is conscientious, she is knowledgeable, she is caring, and she is dedicated to the baby angel Geronimo. So one, two, three. Three separate High Court sittings took place, at each of which Helen MacDonald produced evidence. And the strongest theme of her representation of baby angel Geronimo to the evilness at DEFRA was that if DEFRA's wrong claim was to be accepted as true, as factually justified, and based on facts, then the only way to verify that was to allow baby angel Geronimo to be tested afresh. Now, if the DEFRA evilness were so confident that baby angel Geronimo was really infected, then in logic, common sense, they shouldn't have to have any problem in allowing just another test, objective, independent test, to establish the state of health of the baby angel Geronimo. What did they have to lose? But the creeps repeatedly refused to allow Helen MacDonald's application and demand and reasonable request, scientific request, to let an objective third party independent health check to be carried out on baby angel Geronimo. And these three separately sitting High Court judges were liars. These criminals lied and they lied and they lied, and they behaved as rubber stamps, mere rubber stamps of the UK department called DEFRA. The DEFRA had, in addition to Christian evilness, middle miss, DEFRA had a number of ex employees, all of them involved in one way or the another in examining alpacas and other animals as part of their professional career. And an overwhelming majority of those DEFRA linked individuals certified consistently certified that DEFRA's opposition to Helen Macdonald's request for a thorough independent examination of the baby angel Geronimo's health was brazenly unreasonable, unscientific, and unnecessary. All of these information that I am now summarizing has been available for the, let's say, individuals that have been in place over the last, let's say, 6 years. And they have not got one single excuse, any of them, to support or to base the support on behind the refusal by the minister, who was actually refusing to give the go ahead for a test solely because the minister was in the pocket of the now, what has happened in the United Kingdom in the last few decades is that, on the one hand, the United Kingdom has continued to join international law regimes concerning the removal, although at a very slow pace, of so many illegalities enshrined in the UK's de facto constitution. One of those violations built in the UK's unwritten constitution is license the license whimsically to tell lies about the perfectly healthy baby angel Geronimo. Because although the 1930s fascists in Germany put in prison many of the targets of their vilification, the absolutely innocent targets of their vilification, they, the Nazis in the 1930s, stood away from allowing these criminals any further violations of the victim's rights. So we shall be talking about all of those in further detail in due course later. Suffice to say that Robert Jenrick, in his latest display of cruelty against the children, asylum seeking children, is not behaving in isolation. Jenrick is behaving consistently as part of the agenda that Suella Ivila Cruella is promoting and pushing for. For mysterious reasons, Suella Evila Cruella has been getting herself photographed wearing intentionally glamorizing outfits. Now, anyone who knows Suella Evila Cruella in person and has observed her pictures being paraded in the last few days, which tell the story that she has been as slim as the pictures have been, and so on. We say that the whole charade is motivated by the same agenda of evil that motivated the Nazis in Germany in the 1930s. So we shall be continuing on all of these in due course in other editions. This one is being concluded at 40 minutes at 0810 hours GMT on Friday, the 7th of July 2023.